Difficulty. A thing that we think about every time you open a game. Is this game going to be difficult? Is this not going to be as difficult as you wish? And it's something that has been quite a hot topic in gaming industry for a long time now, especially because of From Software, one of the greatest developers this game industry has left. And it's a complicated topic to talk about for sure. So this video is going to be all about difficulty and my take on difficulty. And believe me, it's quite unique honestly. So I actually play a lot of different type of games. Like so many different genres, so many different stuff, so many different difficulty and all that. So I think I have good enough opinion, at least that my opinion won't exactly change your or matter to you. It should not, honestly, but it should at least give you a take on what you should think about when thinking of difficulty for yourself. And I personally like hard games. Sekiro is one of my favorite game of all time. It's top 5 game for me, and so is Silk Song. Silk Song is also very difficult. Though I have a hot take on that one, I don't think Silk Song is nearly as difficult as many people think out it is to be. And I will make a different video on Silk Song later. But also those are like top 5 games for me of all time. So yeah, I like difficulty, but I don't like difficulty when it's not well managed. What do I mean by that? Well, the thing is, I have a job that puts me in a very unique position that I have to play a lot of games, and there are quite few times where I have to rush some games. So I most of the time just try to choose easy difficulty and get on with it. There's something that I do. But the thing is, when a game gives me a difficulty slider, I just don't default to the easiest mode. I actually go through the game and think about what the game has. And the one issue I have with difficulty that a lot of games tend to do is just increase the bosses or the normal enemies in health and all that. And that is one thing that I have major issues with. If your difficulty is only going to increase the health of that enemies and bosses, then I don't think it's worth just increasing the health and all that. Normally, stratifying may be hard, but nothing extra. I don't think that's fair unless and until you just absolutely know that game. It's the thing that I do on every single one of my Resident Evil playthrough. When I play Resident Evil game, I default to story mode for the first playthrough, and then on the second I go to the harder ones. That's how I play almost all of my Resident Evil games. There have been few where I just went to medium or hard by default, but not always. And I do that for quite a lot of games actually. But as I said, I like hard games, so why don't I just increase the difficulty? Well, as I said before, my job puts me in a bit of a position where I have to sometimes finish game fast, and on hard difficulty you can't do that. If you have to repeat a lot of bosses, then yeah, I can't do that. And that's why I usually just do easier or sometimes hard difficulty. I mean medium, and that's what I usually do. But if the game doesn't provide me with a difficulty slider, that most of the time makes me happy because then I don't have to choose and just play the game the way the person intended it to. And I absolutely know that about some of the games. I don't think any game like Sekiro or Elden Ring, I don't think any of those games should have difficulty slider at all. Because the thing is, if a developer is wants you to experience their game in a hard difficulty, then I think you should. And believe me, I know it's hard to get into those kind of games where it's like From Software and all those, where it's like, oh no, they are too hard, I can do it. I mean, give it a try. I know how good it feels. It will be painful, it will be hard. It took me 14 hours to beat Genichiro, 14. But the happiness I felt when I beat him was just beyond anything. It was just so amazing. Believe me, it feels really good when you finally get good. And it's not that you just forget or the next boss will take the same amount of time. No. Once Genichiro took me 14 hours. Not single boss after that, even Ishina took me more than 2 or 3 hours at all. And I was happy with that because you just need to get the grip. You just need to get to that one thing, and eventually you'll learn your ropes. Picking up Elden Ring or any of the hard games, it's not by default going to make you good, and you're gonna have to learn your ways to get through those games. But it's always worth to get through those. And on the other hand, we have games that do provide difficulties later, where I'm going to use an example. It's Spider-Man. The Spider-Man 2, to be specific, Marvel Spider-Man 2. I played that game and I like it. It's really fun with all the web swinging and all. But I have one major issue with that game, and it is that the enemy healths are just crazy, and I genuinely don't like it. Some of the enemies and the fights that take way too long and they drag on way longer than they should, and I actually hate that because some of these long fights you just get really boring sometimes. And the combat is fun, don't get me wrong, because I really like the boss fights in that game, and I wish there were more boss fights instead of these just enemies fighting. It got really repetitive, especially towards the end. And I was like bored whenever a fight section with a lot of enemies came out in Spider-Man 2. And so I decreased the difficulty, and yeah, it still didn't make any that much better because I don't know why. But difficulty in that game is not well managed. It's just health increase of all the enemies, and the fight just drags on. They don't get any better, they don't get any more fun, they don't add any more strategies, they just drag on. On the other hand, there are Resident Evil games where Resident Evil 9, to be specific, you have to get on the ints whenever you are playing as Grace. You have to get moved to save. You get a lot of limited things. You have to think a lot more. The enemies have increased, yes, but there are a lot of other elements that make a difference. And that's great. I think that's how it should be. And then there are games like Breath of the Wild or something similar. All those kind of games where the difficulty is not that hard. It's region-based difficulty. Same Crimson Desert did something similar, where the difficulty increases as it changes the region. And I really like that system as well. It forces you to explore the region you are in currently, and then you can move slowly. But if you just go to that region directly and you have enough skills, you can survive there. Does it mean you can't? If you have skills, then you can. And that's great. This system rewards you for being good. And that's how it should be. And then there are games like Elden Ring. The thing is, Elden Ring is not hard. I think you should all just, anyone saying Elden Ring is hard, you haven't experienced it the way it should be experienced. I know there are more correct way to play a game, and cooks should be doing of that. The thing about Elden Ring is, if you just rush to the bosses or just rush to defeat something, just keep trying, you're not gonna beat it. The level system is there for a reason. Get more power, get OP, look at all nice stuff. Don't listen to the toxic From Software fan base that tells you that you have to beat a game while being doing fun and all the stuff. No. You don't have to do any of that. When I first experienced Elden Ring, I looked up builds online, I looked up help on what I had to do when I was struggling, and none of that ruined my experience. I absolutely know that it is amazing. But if I was forced to do like, do that and do this and do that, I would have hated Elden Ring 6 bits. But now I instead created my own path, got my own weapons. There are lots of overpowered weapons in Elden Ring. It's not a hard game. Just look up the stuff. Just get overpowered. There are multiple farms that you can use. The game is filled with things that want you to fight them. And you should. Same with Neo actually. Neo 3, I played that game. Really good game. But the second boss in the game, I was struggling against that boss. I was fighting that thing for 4 hours. I think Baba was something its name was. I was fighting that thing for 4 hours and wasn't able to beat him. I got back, I trained, got good, learned few things, learned how the game works because I have not played Neo 1 or 2. So I learned how those games work and all that, and got back. I learned that ninja style is what I should be playing with and how I should be playing. and I enjoyed the rest of the game. I did not struggle against any other boss as much as I did with that one. Sure, there were few roadblocks where I was like, this is hard. But then again, I got a little more upgrades and beat it. So you should always look up stuff if things get difficult. Quitting a game just because it's difficult can lead you to not experience some of the best gaming experiences ever. And same with Silksong. As I said, I don't think Silksong is a hard game. And you will see my take on it when I make a Silksong video. It's something that I really want to do, but I'm waiting for making that for a reason. And so, if you're ever struggling in a game that doesn't provide you with a difficulty slider, then take your time, learn the game, get upgrades. If it's a Elden Ring type of game, go around, explore. And if it's the type of game which provides you with difficulty sliders, don't hesitate to play at easy difficulty at all. Don't do that. If you want to play at easy difficulty, go ahead. Nobody should stop you. The game gives you an option, use it. One of the most major things a lot of gamers do is they think a game should be played in a specific way. No. If you just want to experience a story in a game, then do that. Play God of War at easy difficulty if you want to. Nobody is going to come and hold your hand, except for Atreus, of course, but that's other thing. That's the thing. Gaming is beautiful because it should be experienced by everyone. It should not be something that should be gatekept to a certain group or a certain experience. So remember, there is no specific way to experience a game or no specific difficulty to experience a game. If a game does give you a difficulty slider and you think it's hard at normal difficulty, decrease it to easy. If you think it's easy, decrease it to extreme. All of those options are there for you, and nobody should change your opinion on how you play the game or how you approach the game. And if it's a game that's way too difficult or hard, then I think personally you should keep going. Defeat at least one hard game. If Elden Ring isn't your type, then you Sekiro try. If Sekiro isn't, then you Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight. If not Hollow Knight, then Dead Cells. There are a lot of options for hard games. And you should definitely at least play one of those. Just try different genres. Because if there is always a genre that you will enjoy in every kind of game. And that is another video that I will make. A video about genres in video games. And how there is always a genre for you to enjoy a game in. I personally enjoy a lot of different kind of games, and sometimes I'm forced to play a lot of different kind of games. But that's the beauty of gaming. You should experience it for yourself. Whether it's hard or easy, give everything a try. Also, if you're just like a From Software or Souls enthusiastic who just enjoys hard games, give easy games a try. Give puzzle type of games a try. Play different kind of games and all that. You'll enjoy those experiences as well. And then there's roguelike, which I would like to talk about in an entirely separate video. I don't have enough experience with roguelike to talk about right now. But once I have played enough roguelike, I'll make video on that as well. And if you liked this video, then please like and subscribe to my channel. It will help me out a lot. And comment down your thoughts on difficulty. Because, difficulty in gaming is where